All right, so I'm just a young stupid dog. I'm a little bit miffed because, lo and behold, here comes the producer. We forgot about the producer. I heard the producer became a little bit, funny, got addicted to NyQuil. He had to go into some kind of a rehab center. I'm like, producer, you can't come back in here demanding this or that, you know? The producer says he's going to try to, produce a black Jesus versus white Jesus take. And right away, everybody's, whatever you say, the hair got up on the back of the neck because the producer's a dipshit. We were like, God bless. I'm a young stupid dog. I don't really I'm just observing all this. I can't even speak in front of these people because the man dictated that I can't speak. All right? This ain't got nothing to do with the man. This is the producer, a kid who just got out of rehab, stumbling around. You're like, what do you want? He's like, I can't find my Adderall. You're like, your Adderall? You better find your reading glasses, you stupid son of a bitch. We're like, wow. The producer's some kind of a fucking moron. Whatever, it's all right. Don't worry about it. He thinks he's going to interject himself into a black Jesus, white Jesus take. Whatever. Anyways, the man's part of it because the man told me this whole story, but the man's not here right now. I'm relating a story that I already learned, like Genselflinth. Remember Genselflinth, the guy with the sword who killed the dragon? God bless us, everybody. Nobody knows. But anyways, I couldn't parlay. The man said I can't speak because I'm the only one I can speak to is the man. Like what? I have to hide it from the rest of the world. Why? I don't know. We probably could have made trillions of dollars. Instead, we live in poverty. We're cash poor, house rich, land rich, heretical aristocrats, or whatever. It's okay. We live in a beautiful, posh, expansive, glorious neighborhood. They have just the right mix. There's a lot of whites. There's all the sun. There's a lot of, whatever else too. You know what I'm saying? Blacks, the Latinos, everybody. There's a couple of gays. One time these two freaks came through all tattooed up with hoops in their ears. We're like, what the, what I'm saying? It's a beautiful, posh neighborhood. You can't come in here like that. We're thinking we might have to shoot you right in roll your body, your corpse over into the gutter. Whatever. Don't worry. It's not that elite. It's not that elite, believe me. There's elite ones like that. You go down to Florida, some of them islands, you can't even look over there. Like a sniper will shoot you right through your binoculars and put you in your grave. Anyways, don't worry about it. This is a black Jesus versus white Jesus take that the producer produced. I can't dolly back and forth in time, but just, I was trying to fend him off. I was like indignant. I was pissed off. He produced it. I can't believe this son of a bitch could do it. Anyways, turns out this is the whole take, okay? So black Jesus and white Jesus, they're hanging out in the pool. And, I don't even ask me what kind of a pool, because they were both, at the time, inmates in an insane asylum. And one guy thought he was black Jesus, and one guy thought he was white Jesus from a chess game they once played. But they carried it off pretty well. And these big fluffy robes, and it made everybody look like either, you were, back in that time, and everybody looked like an apostle. Big, fluffy, beautiful robes they had at this nut house. It was gorgeous. Anyways, just picture it. There's black Jesus, He's got this big belly, and thank God he's in the pool because there's always something sticking out of his belly button. You're like, wow, bless, he must have the most belly button. He's splotchy. He doesn't have a beautiful uniform tone, and he's got hair like some kind of a buckwheat Art Garfunkel. You're like, what the hell? How'd you get a male pattern baldness with that, a bicycle bob thing on the sides? Anyways, the white Jesus, though, he was standing there. They were discussing shit. He looks like Morgan Fairchild's. He's got radiant, piercing blue eyes and wispy, like corn silk blonde hair, thin, like every puff of air moves a little bit. And he's porcelain white. You could open a letter with his chin. He's got that Morgan Fairchild's nose. He's got like Elizabeth Taylor colored eyes. This Jesus, he's like, God bless, And everybody knows you. Like, this guy, this is probably Jesus. He looks so gorgeous, Everybody's like, oh, my God. But anyways, they were discussing some bullshit about something. I don't even want to get into it. I think that white Jesus was starting to read something about Richard Nixon, and black Jesus was trying to start up reading about something about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but except for when he was Lou Alcindor. I don't even understand how. I mean, like stupid dog, I have to look up Lou Alcindor. I got him confused with Cassius Clay, but I couldn't figure it out. Nobody could tell me. Finally, one time I discovered that, it is what it is. Don't worry about it. Anyways, they're standing there. They're sitting in the pool. They're in the pool. They're leaning up against the pool. This guy comes up. He starts talking to him in this broken French accent. You're like, they were like, what? Hey, like, guy, push off. We can't deal with you right now. We're in an in-depth, engrossing debate about something, about yo-yos or like bouncy balls. Them balls you could, strike down the ground. They would shoot up in the air 55 feet. It was like the poor man's firework. This guy, he keeps on pressing in. And they're like, gosh, I can't understand what he's saying. Plus, he sounds like Andre the Giant. Like, I don't even know. That wasn't even, it was like even slower, like your batteries run out. Like, I can't even do it. Never mind. Anyways, he kept interjecting, and Black Jesus and White Jesus were like, God bless me, And White Jesus was like, he was getting testy. He was like ready to break out into his Karen character. He's going to say, hey, push off, you son of a bitch. Can't you see we're having an intimate, soak? We're having a soak here as if we're Romans in a Roman pool. And the guy kept pressing in. He kept talking. He started talking straight up French. And Black Jesus and White Jesus were like, what? And finally he he muddles off. And White Jesus looks over at Black Jesus, and Black Jesus was like, I was about to, smack that guy's toe right there. I was going to, smack him in the toe. So get your ass out of here, And White Jesus was like, you know what I was going to do? I didn't even remember what I was going to do. This guy was a conversation stealer. And Black Jesus was like, yeah, son of a bitch. He's a conversation stealer. He presses in and keeps on, monkey until he almost like whatever, He climaxes in a conversational way with either an asterisk, or an exclamation point, and then he goes on to go steal the next conversation. And Black Jesus and White Jesus, they were in agreement, But, they kept on talking or discussing, and Black Jesus almost got more worked up, like there's something wrong with him. Like, but White Jesus was like, didn't you get your boost bar today? What do you need, a draft? That was a White Jesus thing, like a draft. I think it's like an alcoholic beverage. I don't even know. Anyways, they were like, Black Jesus was like, man, I was going to, I might do a miracle. And White Jesus was like, if I was going to do a miracle, I would do a miracle of peace and harmony. And I thought that was pretty cool when the man told me that. I heard that White Jesus said that. Then Black Jesus goes, if I was going to do a miracle, I'd make his firstborn son turn gay. And we were like, oh, God, Black Jesus, no way, man. Come on, no. You cannot. And White Jesus, he had already admitted he was edible. I mean, he had an edible complex. So now Black Jesus has to be the brunt of all the nasty, dirty jokes. And believe me, more nastier or dirty ones are coming. The main thing the producer wanted to say was they were going to do a commercial on this, and we're going to pump up the budget, baby. We're looking to get 4 cents per subscriber. We're going to go on a big subscriber buy, and we're willing to spend up to $4,000. And everybody's like, holy shit, even the man, the dog, everybody was like, holy parando. We're going to get rich. We're going places, baby. We're made.